I've meticulously analyzed the emotional vulnerabilities and combat weaknesses of Starlord. To neutralize him effectively, I'll employ a planning approach integrating both psychological and tactical strategies. His unresolved emotions surrounding his mother's death and Yondu's sacrifice can be exploited. By creating scenarios that provoke these emotions, we can distract him or manipulate his actions. But we must tread cautiously, for toying with his heartstrings could lead to unpredictable outcomes. I'll infiltrate his ship to gather intel about Starlord, including ship's logs and his personal files and file of various members of his team. Utilizing the full arsenal of Wayne-Tekka's holographic technology, I'll craft illusions so convincing that Peter-Quill won't suspect a ruse. While Starlord is ensnared in these holographic memories, I'll use stealth moves to strike from undisclosed locations, exploiting weaknesses in his defenses. A voice modulator can also be used to mimic his mother's voice for added realism. Meanwhile, I'll set traps with sonic disruptors to capitalize on this confusion. These traps will be hidden among debris to catch him off guard. To confront his combat skills, I'll engage him directly, using my martial arts expertise and the Batmobile's non-lethal weapons. Lastly, I'll use psychological tactics, like taunts transmitted through the Batarang, to undermine his confidence while keeping my location hidden so he'll be met with a stealth attack as soon as he loses focus. Secondly, exploiting his impulsiveness and recklessness requires precise timing and planning. By creating decoys or false threats, we can lure him into situations where his impulsive nature works against him. This could involve setting traps or manipulating his environment to provoke hasty decisions. Recognizing his habit of trusting his gadgets blindly, I decide to subtly tamper with his tech. By sneaking into his systems and quietly introducing flaws, I can make his equipment malfunction without him realizing. Then, I'll set up situations that force him to use his sabotaged gear in the heat of the moment, confident it'll work as usual. But as he rushes in, unaware of the danger lurking within his gadgets, I'll be ready to step in. With careful planning, I'll engineer events that lead to his injury or capture, taking advantage of his impulsive nature. If I find myself targeted by Starlord's gravity puck, I'll need to act swiftly. My best course of action would be to activate the portable EMP device stored in my utility belt. This will disrupt the puck's functioning, causing it to malfunction and giving me the opportunity to regain control of the situation. In analyzing Starlord's tactics, I've identified a countermeasure that could prove effective, attaching a bat booster to the back of Peter-Quill's body. By doing so, his own thrusters would struggle to maneuver effectively, hampering his agility and leaving him vulnerable to attack. It's a tactical move that could give me the upper hand in combat. Once Starlord loses control due to the disruptions in his equipment, it's crucial to maintain the upper hand. That's where the bat tasers come into play. As soon as I detect any sign of vulnerability or instability in his movements, I'll swiftly deploy the tasers to immobilize him. This will ensure that I maintain control of the situation and prevent any potential retaliation. In considering how to counter Starlord's average combat skills, I find myself drawn to the prospect of direct confrontation. Recognizing his limitations in hand-to-hand combat, I see an opportunity to exploit this vulnerability to our advantage. Thus, I envision a strategy centered around the utilization of advanced combat techniques and gadgets from my arsenal. By employing my mastery of martial arts and leveraging cutting-edge gadgets such as batarangs and grappling hooks, I can exploit his lack of proficiency in close combat. Through coordinated teamwork and strategic engagement, we'll tip the scales decisively in our favor, ensuring that Starlord is effectively neutralized. In the heat of battle, timing is everything. By acting decisively and swiftly, I can neutralize the threat posed by Starlord. With each move carefully calculated and executed, I'll continue to uphold justice and capture Peter-Quill if he ever becomes a threat. In evaluating Starlord, I see a character with clear strengths and flaws. He's good at making plans and even improvising new plans with limited resources when he leads the Guardians of the Galaxy into the battle. He also keeps a friendly environment that invites new ideas and strategies from other members of his team. But sometimes he acts without thinking, which can lead to trouble or even death of his teammates, as seen when he fought Thanos on Titan. This impulsiveness often stems from his troubled past and feelings of not being good enough or strong emotional response due to death of loved ones. Despite this, I admire his commitment for trying to do what's right, even if it means losing for him, for choosing greater good over his own ambitions. Overall, Star-Lord's mix of skills and flaws makes him a complex but compelling person. In addition, I believe in exploring the possibility of forming an alliance with Star-Lord before resorting to confrontation. Despite our differences, there may be common ground upon which we can build a partnership. But I must keep the mantle of Dark Knight a secret due to Peter's insecurities against other heroes. With enough luck, we can potentially persuade him to join forces with us against greater threats. This approach not only maximizes our resources, but also fosters a spirit of cooperation that could prove invaluable in future endeavors. Therefore, I am committed to exploring diplomatic avenues and endeavor to make Star-Lord an ally rather than an adversary.